Abecedarians, this is Miss Tiffany here, and I want to review with you guys what we learned in class today, which is CC Cycle 1, Week 21. For geography, we had the Canadian waters. We started off with the Great Bear Lake, which is up here at the top. We had the Great Slave Lake, and as we did this, I had the kids circle these areas with their markers on their maps. We had the Hudson Bay. I went over to Labrador Sea because it's easier, and then we went up to the Baffin Bay up there at the top. So I had the kids circle these as we went over them and identified them, and then I taught them some little hand motions to go with it. So for the Great Bear Lake, it's roar. So Great Bear Lake, roar. Great Slave Lake, they cross their arms. So Great Slave Lake. Hudson Bay is one of our timeline songs, so they sang Hudson's Bay Company. So we whispered the company part because we're not supposed to say that because it's not part of the actual geography. And then we went over to Labrador Sea and we just had our little paws like this. So Labrador Sea for a puppy, and then Baffin Bay. We just kind of emphasized the Baffin Bay. So we have the Canadian waters are Great Bear Lake, roar. Great Slave Lake, Hudson's Bay Company. And then we had Labrador Sea, and then Baffin Bay. So that is what we did for geography. For our timeline, we had cards 141 to 147, and it's World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Stalin and the USSR, and the Katyn Massacre. The United Nations formed, the Cold War, Gandhi and India's independence, Jewish state established, Mao and communist victory in China. So we had some visitors today, and our visitors helped us out with that. So we had that up. We pulled out those cards. We showed the kids. We sang them. My helper, my geographer, passed those out today, and then we hung them on the timeline wall in order and said them as we did that. So that is what we did for timeline. For history, the prompt is tell me about the exploration of Canada. So for our actions, it goes something like this. John Cabot, so C for Cabot, and Samuel de Champlain, another C for Champlain, explored, so we're going to explore and look out, Canada, and the St. Lawrence River, so we're going to make a river down, okay? Creation of Hudson's Bay Company. See what we're talking about here? So we're going to make it like a little bay with our arms. Hudson's Bay Company in 1670, 7 fingers. Eventually led to war. We're going to fight, like put our fists together like we're fighting. Led to war between Britain and France. So if you look at the map, Britain kind of sits up like this, the island like this. And then France kind of does something else weird, like it has a little thumb or something, but we're going to just do it to make it easy like that. So Britain and France, and then it goes, next sentence is the maple leaf is a symbol of Canada. So we're going to do a great big C with your arms for Canada. Okay? So let's see if we can listen to that song and do that together.
John Cabot and Samuel de Champlain explored Canada and the St. Lawrence River. Creation of the Hudson's Bay Company in 1670 eventually led to war between Britain and France. The maple leaf is the symbol of Canada.
John Cabot and Samuel de Champlain explored Canada and the St. Lawrence River. Creation of Hudson's Bay Company in 1670 eventually led to war between Britain and France. The maple leaf is the symbol of Canada. John Cabot and Samuel de Champlain explored Canada and the St. Lawrence River. Creation of the Hudson's Bay Company in 1670 eventually led to war between Britain and France. The maple leaf is the symbol of Canada.
Very good. That's say this is like, so you just put your hand out like it's a maple leaf. I don't know if I explained that, but this is kind of our maple leaf. So it's the symbol of Canada. All right, so the associative law for addition states, open parentheses, A plus B. You can see my little thingamajiggs here. So it's open parentheses, A plus B, close parentheses, plus C equals A plus open parentheses, B plus C, close parentheses, and then for multiplication state, it's the same thing, just the multiplication sign. So open parentheses, A times B, close parentheses times C equals A times open parentheses, B times C, close parentheses. So that's what we did is I used tape on the floor and I did the parentheses on the tape with tape on the floor. And I gave the kids an A, B, or C. And I had 7 there today. So I had one who stood on the equal sign. So I did that too. So I used tape for the plus signs, the parentheses signs, and the equal signs. And what I did is I gave 6 children A, B, and C. So one on each side. And then I had them stand. They knew what letter they were. I had them stand in the right places. And I would say open parentheses, and they would yell A. And then I would say plus, and the next person would say B. And I would say close parentheses plus C. The kid would say C. And then the equal sign person would say equals A, the kid. And I'd say plus open parentheses B plus C, close parentheses. It worked really well. It's a little confusing while I'm doing it, but we did that with the multiplication states and the addition states. It was a lot of fun. Kids did well with it once we got into the right places. So that's what we did for math. For Latin, we did fourth declension noun endings, and we directed and conducted the orchestra, and we said us. For singular, we did it with one hand, just kind of remind us that singular is one, plural is more than one, so we use 2 hands, okay? So we said us, ui, oo, us, ui, oo, us, ui, oo, singular fourth declension, ibis, 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 plural fourth declension. So that's what we did for Latin. I always feel like I'm stuttering when I do that. So that's what we did for Latin. For English, we did helping and linking verb to be. So we used the clap. It's am, are, is, was, were, be, being, been. So it's am, are, is, was, were, be, being, been. Am, are, is, was, were, be, being, been. We did it with stomping the feet. That was a little tricky. We did it pounding on the table for the beat, but I think definitely they got the clapping the best. So that's what we did for English. All right, so for science, the question is, what are the 5 circles of latitude? And I used this handy dandy little drawing that I found from a mama. I think it's called Learning Mama or Happy Learning or something like that. Happy Learner maybe, from a mama on YouTube. And of course we have this globe, and it kind of pointed to the kids. I point out all the lines. So we have the equator, the Arctic Circle, and then the opposite, we have the Antarctic Circle down here. And then between the equator and the Arctic Circle, we have the Tropic of Cancer. Between the equator and the Antarctic Circle, we have the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, if you have a hard time deciding which one is Tropic of Capricorn and which one is Tropic of Cancer, just know that we can look at the, it's in alphabetical order, so C-A-N or C-A-P. So if it's C-A-N, N becomes before P, so the Cancer, Tropic of Cancer is before or on top of the Tropic of Capricorn. So that's how we can remember which line is what. And of course, we know the equator, which goes to center, Antarctic, which is down there in Antarctica, and then of course, Arctic Circle, which is up there where the arch circle goes. So that is how those lines line up. That's what that looks like. And this is how the song goes. So it says, the 5 circles of latitude, la 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 latitude. Arctic Circle, Tropic of Cancer, la 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 latitude. Equator, Tropic of Capricorn, la 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 latitude. Arctic Circle, la 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 latitude. So that is what we did for science. For hands-on science, we discussed minerals, and for this week and for next week, we're looking at discovering minerals and running some tests on minerals so that we can qualify what they are and what types of minerals they are. And then the week after that is rocks. They're rocks, so we're going to look at rocks and run some tests on those. So what we decided to do today is we kind of took it easy. We reviewed some things that we learned about rocks. So, week 13, we talked about the parts of the geosphere. So first of all, I talked about from week 14, the 3 kinds of rocks, and we reviewed that and how we did it to the We Will Rock You song. So we did the 3 kinds of rocks, sedimentary, metamorphic, igneous. All right, so that's what we did we reviewed that, and then we said, where are these rocks in the found? They're in the geosphere. What are the parts of the geosphere? We did the core, mantle, crust, hydrosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. So we reviewed those. We talked about what a gemologist was, what a geologist was, what minerals actually were, and then we took a cute little rock book and we read that together. So we are all set, and we discussed also the different types of tests that scientists run, that geologists and gemologists run to with their the different types of tests they run to discover to find out what kind of mineral it is that we're working with. We talked about this also. I don't remember what week it was. Prior weeks in hands-on science about sapphires, how they're when we did the color streak test. Sapphires come in blue, pink, purple, yellow, green, orange, black, and clear. But so for a scientist or for a gemologist to know exactly what kind of mineral or gem that is, you can do the streak test or the streak color test, and it will always be a sapphire will always be a white color, no matter what color the actual gem looks like. So the streak test will always be white, and that's one of the ways they know that, and they qualify it as a sapphire. So we talked about that. We're going to do the streak test next week on some minerals. Probably we're going to talk about the mineral colors, the mineral streak, the actual streak colors, the transparency, the luster, the shape of it, how hard it is, how it breaks, that kind of thing. So we're going to do a few of those tests with a few minerals next week, and then the following week we're going to do those tests, some tests with rocks, and that's what we're doing in hands-on science. For hands-on art, we listened to Bach's. We listened to Bach, and we learned a little bit about him, and we listened to the Well-Tempered Clavier, and the kids listened, and we really focus on being able to be 2 things: being content and being attentive. So be content, in other words, just be happy with being still and being calm. And they spread out on the floor, and they just laid there as they listened to the song, the Well-Tempered Clavier, and then and being attentive. What are you hearing? What is the instrument? In the clavier specifically, the Well-Tempered Clavier, he's playing the harpsichord, and it sounds like there's like 6 people playing this thing, and he does it in such a way where it sounds like that, but it's just him and his 2 hands playing this piece. So it's pretty interesting. If you get a chance to listen to that, I would do that and see what the kiddos can point out and what they have heard. So that's what we did for hands-on fine arts. That's it for CC Cycle 1, Week 21. Thank you guys so much, and we look forward to seeing you next week.